Hi there, I hope you're well. I'm going to share with you today some tips on how to deal with nerves. So I helped to mentor a couple of promising up and coming athletes, and they've recently, both of them have been doing exams, and they've just found that the compounding effect of having the exam stress and then competition stress and training stress is just starting to negatively impact them. And so, as I say, I've got a few tips for you here. First of all, I think it's important to recognise that it's perfectly acceptable and understandable to get nerves. I do actually think that it might be a bit more prevalent nowadays than what it was when I was a youngster. I don't know entirely why, and I don't know if that exactly is the truth, but perhaps due to social media, I don't know, whether sort of people feel like they've got loads more people that are watching and unbothered about performances and that kind of thing. So another reason, as I say, therefore, why it is understandable and acceptable. Yeah, no, not necessarily acceptable, sorry, that just accept that you have nerves, okay, and that it is understandable. It's not so much acceptable because you don't want to just sit back and accept it because it's negatively impacting you, which brings me to my next point. Just because you have those nerves doesn't necessarily mean that you have to put up with them, okay? The mind is very trainable. And so on the one level, it is possible to reframe those nerves. For example, you could see them as actually a positive thing, and that they are necessary to help you to perform at a certain level because they give you the adrenaline, which encourages you to produce more energy. That all those sorts of physiological reasons why nerves can be good. What else? Yeah, you can tell yourself if it were easy, then everyone would do it. That it's going to make you a stronger person by going outside of your comfort zone. And there's no such thing as failure, only feedback. So there's just a few examples there, as I say, of how you can actually reframe what you see as bad nerves into being something good. In fact, one of my favourite sayings is stressed is just desserts spelled backwards. So again, that gives you that kind of reframing type idea. But that's just on the one level, the reframing. I think that even more significant than that is if you can look beneath the success itself, or what you are trying to achieve and what you are giving yourself the stress and pressure to achieve, and just recognizing that at the end of the day it doesn't really matter. It's not to say that you shouldn't strive for lofty goals. Absolutely you should, but the outcome is incidental in a way. So let me just explain a bit further there before you switch off. But okay, my reason for saying that is that quite often we put pressure on ourselves because we want to do well, because we want to make other people proud. And those people, if you were to actually talk to them, and this is another point I want to make, do talk to certain people about your nerves. Don't sort of be saying to everybody how nervous and how much pressure you feel, but to those special people, perhaps whom you're trying to make proud, don't be afraid to express your concerns to them, because you might be surprised by how actually unconditionally supportive they are of you and how they will love you unconditionally. Sometimes that might not be the case, unfortunately, and wherever possible, I would therefore advise you to distance yourself from those people, or just block them out as much as possible, okay, because they don't have your best interests at heart. And again, whilst it is important to have those people to love you unconditionally, on an even deeper level than that, it's important that you love yourself unconditionally and recognise that you are a good person no matter what. So just going back to the point that I just made about how I believe that you should still strive for those lofty goals, like loving yourself unconditionally, I don't think is going to detract from the motivation for you to achieve those goals. I think that motivation in sort of competitive people is going to be there anyway. It's sort of like almost human nature. And so you don't need like the unnecessary pressure and the the pressure that's going to detract from your performance because it's too much. And so if you have a more compassion for yourself, more respect for yourself, more love for yourself, then you're going to, for one, in your training, you're going to respect yourself a lot more and more likely train consistently because you're not kind of battering your body. And then when you get to the races, you're not going to be as nervous because that edge of the pressure has been taken off as well, because you recognise it doesn't really matter. So it's a bit of a paradox that because you think you recognise that it doesn't matter, that it then frees you to perform better. So just to quickly recap there then, so just recognising that nerves are understandable. You can reframe them on the one level and sort of see them as positive and all those points I mentioned, but then to get some perspective and see that the outcome doesn't really matter so long as you surround yourself with the people that love you unconditionally and you love yourself unconditionally. And that, I think, will come more as a result of being a good person than a good athlete or a good student, if that's what you're nervous about. And then again, being that good person is going to make you more likely to have success. Okay, I hope that helps. Have a good week. Take care.